Are you feeling frustrated or even disheartened that the progress that your child was making has suddenly stopped and plateaued? Or maybe you're seeing some regression happening. Some behaviors that you thought were behind you are showing up again, or your child's sleep regulation isn't as good as it was, or their digestion maybe isn't doing as well as it was. And you might be wondering if the care plan is failing, or if something's wrong, or is there something that is getting missed. And I want you to just take a deep breath and be assured that plateaus and even regression are a normal and necessary part of the healing process. The neurological healing journey is rarely a straight line. It's more like a roller coaster with twists and turns, ups and downs. And that is to be expected. But this is the thing that I want you to know, is that those plateaus or regression are not a sign of failure. There's actually evidence that your child's nervous system is working through deeper layers of dysfunction and adapting to a new level of organization. I'm Dr. DoniBeth Davis, one of the chiropractors here at Sozo Chiropractic, and I want to go through a few explanations as to why this might be happening and hopefully give you some reassurance that your child is on the right track and to not be discouraged if this might be happening with your kiddo. As a neurologically focused chiropractor, I see this happen all the time. And the research actually refers to it as a nonlinear healing process. And the neuroplasticity that is going on forces that brain to reorganize itself. And that's not a smooth, straight process. It is going to be full of twists and turns. And through that, you're going to see deeper layers of healing. So let's talk through what might be contributing to the plateau or the regression that you're seeing in your child. First, growth spurts and developmental milestones. Now, with a pediatric population, we want to see these things happen. We expect for these things to happen. But in those moments, in those spurts of time, the energy demand on your child's body is going to be higher. There's going to be a lot more that's going on with them in their neurology. And so their ability to level up may not happen during that growth spurt or when their body's developing a new skill with their new milestone. So we might see things like more moodiness or disrupted sleep pattern, or like I said, some temporary regression in their nervous system focus. But the body is integrating these new things and developing new skills that on the other side of it is going to be some really cool and exciting things that you're going to see with your child in these new skills that they acquire. And it's really going to contribute to the resiliency of their nervous system overall. So that's something to take into consideration if you're noticing your child is plateauing or regressing. Is there maybe a growth spurt that's happening? I mean, we can see that in our kiddos where you're like, man, you grew an inch overnight. Or are they working on developing a new skill? And if so, just take a deep breath and continue to support your child with their chiropractic care. And on the other side of it is going to be some really exciting things. Another thing to take a look at is there an immune challenge that's happening? Maybe your child got exposed to something and is now their body's needing to prioritize fighting off that bacteria or that virus. It needs to trigger a fever response, which is a big neurological thing that the body needs to do, that your nervous system's going to be regulating that immune response. And so this isn't going to be the time where it can work on some deeper neurological healing. It has to prioritize that immune response first and foremost. And so you might see some temporary lethargy or irritability and things like that. I mean, just like us as adults, if our body's fighting something, we're not going to be at our best. We're not going to be at a time where we're going to try to level up and do a new skill in that time frame. So that's something else to take into consideration. A third thing that we take a look at is environmental factors. Is there maybe something that your child is getting exposed to or just got exposed to for the first time that is creating extra challenges in their bodies? Things like toxins, molds, allergens, things like that. So if you're starting to notice a plateau in your child, I'd take a look at, is there anything that's changed in their environment that we can work on minimizing? Is there something new in their diet that maybe their body just isn't tolerating well? The fourth thing that we want to take a look at is the emotional stressors that might be going on and creating a little bit more demand through that stress response. A busier schedule could be one of the things, or maybe a change in the normal routine for kiddos that transition from normal routine in the school year to a summer schedule. That might be a little bit stressful for them. And when their body is in that fight or flight response, we're going to see some hormone changes with like cortisol and adrenaline and things like that. And that can become overwhelming for your child's nervous system. So that's something else to take into consideration. Is there been any changes in their routine? Is there anything that might contribute to their overall stress level? And if that's the case, that could definitely be contributing to that regression. And then as you start to put those pieces together, then you can evaluate, is there anything that we can change to make this less stressful? Or how can we help support our child through the stressful week, or this change of routine, or whatever it might be going on that way. The fifth thing that we take a look at, if there's a regression or a plateau that's happening, is that there might be some medication or therapy overload that's happening in their bodies and contributing to that plateau. With the medications, that's something that you want to be in communication with your child's provider that is prescribing that. But as their body heals and their neurology is changing, their demand or their need for those medications or the dosing may change. And so that's something to take a look at. Is there any modifications that need to be done that way? Or sometimes their bodies, their nervous system can get overloaded if they're doing several different therapies and getting chiropractic care to support their neurological healing. And that just can get overwhelming for their system. And what we found is that taking a temporary break from some of those additional therapies to allow the nervous system to focus on the reorganization and the healing that needs to happen, then we come back to those therapies and it's a lot less frustrating and the outcomes are better. And so that's something to be in communication with us as the chiropractors, and also with the therapy providers, and working together as a team to figure out, do we need to pause doing some of the therapies so that the neurology can heal and the child is more equipped to then take on those skills that they're trying to learn and accomplish in the therapy. So those are the things that we take a look at if a child is having some regressions or plateaus, and we want to take all things into consideration. So definitely stay in communication with us and let us know what you're noticing. And every little detail is helpful as we piece things together. But please do not get discouraged. So please reach out if you have any questions, and click the link in our bio if you want to learn more.